Brought to you by WikiVD Documentaries. General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon.
The General Dynamics F-16 Fighting Falcon is a single-engine supersonic multi-role fighter aircraft. Originally developed by General Dynamics for the United States Air Force. Designed as an air superiority DEF fighter, it evolved into a successful all-weather multi-role aircraft. Over 4,500 aircraft have been built since production was approved in 1976. Although no longer being purchased by the U.S. Air Force, improved versions are still being built for export customers. In 1993, General Dynamics sold its aircraft manufacturing business to the Lockheed Corporation, which in turn became part of Lockheed Martin after a 1995 merger with Martin Marietta.
The Fighting Falcon's key features include a frameless bubble canopy for better visibility, side-mounted control stick to ease control while maneuvering, a seat reclined 30 degrees to reduce the effect of G-forces on the pilot, and the first use of a relaxed static stability, fly-by-wire flight control system which helps to make it a nimble aircraft. The F-16 has an internal M61 Vulcan cannon and 11 locations for mounting weapons and other mission equipment. The F-16's official name is Fighting Falcon, but Viper is commonly used by its pilots and crews, due to a perceived resemblance to a Viper snake as well as the colonial Viper starfighter on Battlestar Galactica. In addition to active duty for U.S. Air Force Reserve Command, and Air National Guard units, the aircraft is also used by the USAF Aerial Demonstration Team, the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds, and as an adversary-aggressor aircraft by the United States Navy. The F-16 has also been procured to serve in the air forces of 25 other nations. As of 2015, it is the second most common currently operational military aircraft in the world.
Lightweight fighter program. Experiences in the Vietnam War revealed the need for air superiority fighters and better air-to-air training for fighter pilots. Based on his experiences in the Korean War, and as a fighter tactics instructor in the early 1960s, Colonel John Boyd, with mathematician Thomas Christie, developed the energy maneuverability theory to model a fighter aircraft's performance in combat. Boyd's work called for a small, lightweight aircraft that could maneuver with the minimum possible energy loss, and which also incorporated an increased thrust-to-weight ratio. In the late 1960s, Boyd gathered a group of like-minded innovators that became known as the Fighter Mafia, and in 1969 they secured Department of Defense funding for General Dynamics and Northrop to study design concepts based on the theory. Air Force FX proponents remained hostile to the concept because they perceived it as a threat to the F-15 program. However, the Air Force's leadership understood that its budget would not allow it to purchase enough F-15 aircraft to satisfy all of its missions.
The Advanced Day Fighter concept, renamed FXX, gained civilian political support under the reform-minded Deputy Secretary of Defense David Packard, who favored the idea of competitive prototyping. As a result, in May 1971, the Air Force Prototype Study Group was established, with Boyd a key member, and 2 of its 6 proposals would be funded, one being the lightweight fighter. The request for proposals issued on 6 January 1972 called for a Class Air-to-Air day fighter with a good turn rate, acceleration and range, and optimized for combat at speeds of Mach 0.61.6 and altitudes of. This was the region where USAF studies predicted most future air combat would occur.
The anticipated average flyaway cost of a production version was $3 million. This production plan, though, was only notional as the USAF had no firm plans to procure the winner. Air Combat Fighter Competition. Increased interest would turn the LWF into a serious acquisition program.
North Atlantic Treaty Organization allies Belgium, Denmark, the Netherlands, and Norway were seeking to replace their F-104G Starfighter fighter bombers. In early 1974, they reached an agreement with the US that if the USAF ordered the LWF winner, they would consider ordering it as well. The USAF also needed to replace its F-105 Thunderchief and F-4 Phantom II fighter bombers. The U.S.
Congress sought greater commonality in fighter procurements by the Air Force and Navy, and in August 1974 redirected Navy funds to a new Navy air combat fighter program that would be a navalized fighter-bomber variant of the LWF. The four NATO allies had formed the Multinational Fighter Program Group, and pressed for a U.S. decision by December 1974. Thus the USAF accelerated testing
to reflect this serious intent to procure a new fighter bomber. The LWF program was rolled into a new air combat fighter competition in an announcement by U.S. Secretary of Defense James R. Schlesinger in April 1974. Schlesinger also made it clear that any ACF order would be in addition to the F-15, which extinguished opposition to the LWF. ACF also raised the stakes for GD and Northrop, because it brought in competitors intent on securing what was touted at the time as the arms deal of the century. These were Dassault Breguet's proposed Mirage F-1M53, the Anglo-French RCP-ECAT Jaguar, and the proposed Sub-37E Eurofighter.
Northrop offered the P-530 Cobra, which was similar to the YF-17. The Jaguar and Cobra were dropped by the MFPG early on, leaving two European and the two US candidates. On the 11th of September 1974, the U.S. Air Force confirmed plans to order the winning ACF design to equip 5 tactical fighter wings, though computer modeling predicted a close contest. The YF-16 proved significantly quicker going from one maneuver to the next, and was the unanimous choice of those pilots that flew both aircraft. On 13 January 1975, Secretary of the Air Force John L.
McLucas announced the YF-16 as the winner of the ACF competition. The chief reasons given by the Secretary were the YF-16's lower operating costs, greater range, and maneuver performance that was significantly better than that of the YF-17, especially at supersonic speeds.
Another advantage of the YF-16, unlike the YF-17, was its use of the Pratt & Whitney F-100 turbofan engine, the same power plant used by the F-15. Such commonality would lower the cost of engines for both programs. Secretary McLucas announced that the USAF planned to order at least 650, possibly up to 1,400 production F-16s in the Navy Air Combat Fighter Competition. On the 2nd of May 1975, the Navy selected the YF-17 as the basis for what would become the McDonnell Douglas F/A-18 Hornet.
Thank you for watching. Brought to you by WikiVD Documentaries. Please like and subscribe below. Please like and subscribe below.